When I come to stage, usually I come like a representative of a dental clinic, and I try to share the experience, what we do in our dental clinics, how we manage the finance of the personnel or other things. Today, here I stand like a representative for the industry, and I would like very shortly to speak what is the dental industry thinking now about, what is the future by their opinion. A couple of months ago, I was in Straumann in annual strategic meeting, and I've got a couple of interesting slides that I would like to share with you today. First, why do patients visit dentists? There was a big survey in different countries done, and it's interesting numbers in my understanding. Country by country is different, but people come for checkup. I don't know the survey exactly, is this checkup connected with hygiene or is simply the checkup? But in general, in Germany, 90% of the people just come for regular checkup, and you will see what happens afterwards. Because of pain, in China is 78% people come because of pain. In Germany it's much lower, because I guess they come more often just for regular checkups. Acute emergency, something very quick to solve. In Germany is only 10%, and I guess because again of these regular checkups. But for me, these ones were more interesting. Desire of an implant, depending on the country, from 22 to 30% of the patients come to the dentist because of a desire of an implant or desire of an aesthetics. And this aesthetics demands is growing everywhere. In Brazil, 40% of the patients came because of the willingness to do something aesthetic, even in China, in Italy. So it's 1/3 on average of the patients start to come here not because of the treatment, but because of the aesthetics. And tooth preservation again. So all in all, if you talk about industry, the concentration goes on implants, which is nothing new, but on aesthetics, this is a little bit new. And if you talk what is driving the dental industry, what in Straumann headquarters the people are thinking, they're actually thinking about digitalization, they're thinking about clear aligners, and they're thinking about implants, of course. About digitalization, a couple of interesting slides. By calculation of the company, the market has reached about this year about 10–13%. That means from the whole clinics, 10–13% of the dental clinics are using already intraoral scanners. And in all the industries, this is a curve. This is a curve where the people at the beginning are very skeptical about new technologies. They buy it very rarely, but afterwards, when they reach some certain peak, like here, everybody starts to buy. And the opinion of Straumann is that in the nearest future, that means in 5 years, all, not all, half actually of the clinics will go from conventional impressions to digital, half. And approximately by all questionnaires, what we do in different countries, 65% of the dental facilities plan to invest in the nearest 3 years to buy an intraoral scanner. And the highest demand is for the orthodontists and surgeons, because for the orthodontist and implant surgeons, intraoral scanner, I think, is already much better than a conventional way. To take impression with the intraoral scanner is much better than conventional way. We were curious, what is in our countries, and we asked 30 clinics in Lithuania, are they willing to invest in the nearest 5 years into intraoral scanners? And the numbers were exactly the same. 50% of them said that they will buy intraoral scanners within the next 5 years. Urs Belzer was here 2 years ago. 2 years ago in December, and he said that I will not work digitally, but you will. And I think that he was right. I think the market is changing. The machines are really good enough today. And I think in 5 years, definitely, when you will see the slides of the speakers, they will be with digital impressions. I'm really thankful to my team This year we have sold 40 intraoral scanners in the Baltics, 40. That's a good result. We're definitely number one, and I'm really thankful for the good work of my people. But also what will affect this, that the labs will learn more and more to work digitally, and I think the market will start to digitalize everywhere, also here in Latvia. Clear aligners, that is a very interesting topic. The global market is growing very fast for clear aligners. Today is around 2 million people treated with aligners. Today, I mean this year. And this is about 2.4 billion euros market in numbers, in money. Straumann believes that in 5 years, aligners will be bigger market than implant. In Straumann, this was 2 days event. It was, I think, 3 times less time spent on implants than on aligners. So Straumann, being an implant company, number one in the world, speaks about aligners more than in implants, because this is the future. And of course, still, aligners are more popular in North America. It is half of the market, but all other markets are growing. Europe, Latin America, Asia, Pacific. So here I would like to stress a couple of interesting facts about the Baltics. If you calculate how many people need orthodontic treatment, we would go for the number about 4 million people. There was a survey done in Lithuania, and 70% of the people have a crowded teeth. And actually, the number is everywhere in the world. So if I simply count the population of the Baltics, which is around 6 million people, on 70%, I reach 4 million people. 4 million people that potentially have a problem. I would say 90% of them will not treat by any reason. But 10%, it could be potentially our patients, and it's 400,000 people. Plus, it's been born about 65,000 people each year in the Baltics. And again, 70% of them have a crowded teeth. So 45,000 potential patients are born each year. So all in all, market is huge, huge market. How many of patients are treated in the Baltics orthodontically per year? It's around 20,000. And this is why so long queues to get to the orthodontic. In some regions, in the Baltics, you have to wait 1 year to get a sign for the orthodontic treatment. Because the market is so big, demand is so huge, and there is so few doctors who could do that. Today, in the Baltics, it is still bracers what is leading the treatment. It's around 170 orthodontics, which do about 100 patients per year, and it's about 70,000 patients are treated per year. If you talk about aligners, now is a trial phase. Only some of the orthodontists fully switched to aligners. When they do that, of course, we do a lot of patients. They treat a lot of patients, like Marius Grzybowskis. He said that he will treat about 300 patients with aligners this year. But still, most of the orthodontic doctors do 5, 6 cases just for the trials. And even less, there are some general practitioners who do the aligner treatment, and it's around 300 patients per year. So the market 2019 looks more or less like this. How it could look after 5 years? We think that the market will double, at least. And it should be about twice more patients helped with this treatment, about 55,000. And what do we believe? That the bracers, like a kind of a treatment, will decrease. It will still stay. Some of the orthodontic doctors will not switch to aligners. The bracers, I guess, will be the number one choice for the kids. But we believe that about 120 orthodontics will work also parallel with bracers and aligners, some of them only aligners. And then the orthodontic doctor switched to aligners, he can take twice more patients per year, twice more patients. He can help twice more people because the treatment is better. So 24,000 patients patients we expect treated by aligners by orthodontics, and this is the interesting number. We believe that if from 4,500 dentists, what we have in the Baltics, only 10% will learn how to use this very effective tool, and they will do 50 patients per year. It will be 22,000 cases, 22,000 patients treated with aligners by general practitioners. I asked Straumann, Straumann has a ClearCorrect company, which is #2 in the world with aligners. I asked, what is the customer of clear aligners? And they say 95% is general practitioners. It's not orthodontic doctors, it's general practitioners. And this is the most growing market. And like the implants, at the beginning it was only specialists, only some small part of the people. Afterwards the people were learning to use aligners, implants, and now we calculate that it's around 20% of all dentists, one way or another, work with implants. I think that aligners will be the same, and it will be very soon. Why aligners are so good? Why it is becoming so popular in the world? Because, first of all, it is much faster treatment. With aligners, you will treat about 30%, at least 30%, I would say, patient faster than with bracers. With aligners, it's about 2 to 4 times less visits for the patients, for the doctor. With aligners, it's much more convenient treatment for the patient. It's invisible, it's easier hygiene, it's less painful, it's more predictable results. It is really much better treatment. And the only problem is that you need to learn to use this tool. It's a tool. It's not a competitor to orthodontic doctors. Actually, it's a tool, first of all, for orthodontic doctors. And it's really need knowledge to learn to use aligners. And I asked Straumann, okay, how do you teach general practitioners in the United States? How do we start to work with this? And they said that there is intensive courses, 12 days, with hands-on, with a lot of trials, with a lot of case analysis, with a lot of theory, and then the people start to do simple cases. And then they can help for the much more patients with the simple cases. And we will plan to do the next year also something the same here in the Baltics, to organize such intensive long courses in order to help to break through inertness. But we do believe that the future is actually here now already. And there's one myth that aligners is only for simple cases, which is not true. Medgruppe already has sold and treated, together with doctors, with partners, over 1,000 patients. And here are some cases by doctors who shared with us. The results are really tremendous. And then I asked Robertas Kirlys, one of our opinion leaders here, said, Robertas, in which case it will not work? And actually he said, there is no case where it will not work. So I'm not so sure, but there is no case. It of course depends a little bit on the strategy, on the doctor's experience, but in my understanding, in general, we can say that it is for all kind of indications. And a couple of words about dental implants. Dentistry of dental implants, I think, is already very mature. The products are really good. And what is different, actually, when I look at the world, is how many implants are placed per capita. And these numbers are really surprisingly different. If you look at Lithuania, it is 235 implants per 10,000 people. If I look at Latvia, it is only 70, 3 times less. If I look at Estonia, it is twice less than in Lithuania. If I go to Brazil, which definitely lives not better than Latvia, it is more implants per capita than in Latvia, which is surprisingly, or Argentina, which is now constantly in the crisis. So then you go to Israel, where you can see 400 implants per 10,000 inhabitants. And then you go to United States, where there's only 74, which definitely lives better than in Lithuania. So the question, why is these numbers so different? And the answer is one. What is offering the doctors? That is a choice of the patient. It's not that the people buying capacity or something. It's actually a choice of a doctor what to offer. And in developed countries, Western countries, there is small amount of implants per capita because very often there, insurance companies are covering bridges, not implants, because it's cheaper for insurance companies. And then the offering goes for the bridges, and then the treatment goes for the bridges, not because it's better treatment. Honestly, if we talk about the belief that the implant treatment is reliable, I think there is less and less doubt in any kind of the market. We can present millions of studies that will show around 3% implant failure rate for a long term. So this definitely works. The product definitely works. And there are many studies showing that bridges are not so long-lasting, are not so aesthetic, are not so easy cleaning, are not so reliable as bridges, so as implants. So I think implants should be no doubt that is a really should be first choice to restore a lost tooth. What is interesting also, we see that maybe the financial situation is not clear for the doctors, for the prosthodontist doctors. And they made calculation what it would be if the patient is treated with the bridge here and with the implant, these two lines here. And let's say that the patient comes for the consultation, first consultation, he's assigned for the 30 minutes and he's charged 19 euros in both cases. There's no difference here. He comes for the second visit, he was motivated, and now we go on the left side for the conventional way. Teeth grinding, impression, and temporary made from hand. 90 minutes assignment. We take money for tooth impression and for the temporary crowns. And in the implant way, the patient goes for the doctor, for the surgeon, he comes back, and you take impression from the implant. Again, you charge him 19 euros. Then, let's say it's a try-in phase, where the patient is assigned in a bridge version for the 60 minutes, temporaries are out, we try to look, is the bridge fitting? If everything's fine, we then take the bridge out, put the temporaries, the lab is finishing the bridge. Here, actually, we trying on the implant, that is much shorter time. It's 15 minutes enough, actually. And now is the final delivery. The patient comes here, he is assigned for the 60 minutes, and the lab and the clinic takes 600 euros for the 3-unit bridge. Here he comes for the final delivery of a crown on an implant. He's assigned for 30 minutes, and again 600 euros, let's say, for the monolithic zirconia. And of course there are lab costs everywhere. Let's say for the 3-unit bridge, the lab charges 250 euros, and for the crown on the implant, it is 70 euros abutment plus 120 euros for the zirconia crown. And now here is the interesting numbers. In the bridge version, the patient spent in the chair 4 hours, and was charged almost 700 euros. In an implant version, of course without an implant, it's only prosthetics, he was in the chair 2 hours and 1 hour more for the surgeon. But actually, patient has spent in a chair less hours. It's one thing. He was charged here 600 euros, but if I recalculate per hour what was the earnings of the doctor, and of course of the clinic also, because usually it's 50-50, so I become to the number where the salary of the doctor and the earnings of the clinic is actually twice bigger if implant. So what we should understand, that clinically it is, I think everybody should agree that is a better version for the patient, but is also financially much better version for the doctors, and not only for the surgeon, which is like the first reaction, yeah, the surgeon sends money placing implants. Actually, the prosthodontists also earn money, twice more, if they switch from bridges to implants. So this is what also should be bear in mind if you talk about implant volume per country. And we will try to do this year also, the next year actually, lots of trainings, again speak about reliability, about the protocols, do hands-on, and also the finance exactly in each clinic to see and to take all the obstacles away. If you talk about product innovations, actually we need to use what already exists. I have more and more interesting studies that are popping up with rock-solid as elective results. And actually these results are really fantastic. And I hope there will be more and more doctors who will say that it's not an option to offer such kind of a product. It will be obligatory. And I like to show this Stephen Chen movie where he touches a very sensitive topic, an obligation to offer the best.
As clinicians, we have a moral obligation, a moral and ethical obligation, that when you place a biomaterial, or when you place a therapeutic device into someone, then you must satisfy yourself that you're placing the material that's best researched, that's got the best surface characteristics, that's got the best strength characteristics that you have today. Of course, 10 years, 20 years, it will change again. But on the day, you have a moral obligation to do that. And that is why in my practice, all reduced diameter implants are titanium, zirconium, rock solid. It's the best material available on the market today. And I use the SL active implant surface because, once again, it's the best surface available today.
I guess most of you already seen this movie. Maybe some of you been in EAO 2014. But all in all, in Latvia, there's only 30% of the all sales of Straumann implants as selective, and which is, I think, for me, is a little bit a pity. Because from one hand, we decided to offer a unique thing, and we will continue to do that. It's a warranty. I recently had a chance to talk because of the other reasons with the insurance company, and they said that all equipment for the houses, TV sets and all the stuff, they are sold with the prolonged warranty, and the people are paying for this prolonged warranty. I think to have warranty for an implant, that definitely would be not a question to pay for. But they are paying for the same TV or for the same recorder or whatever. Here is not the same. Here is definitely the best one. And we decided for the next year to make the rules a little bit more simple, to decrease the warranty from 10 to 5 years. Those who started the project with 10, it will be 10, but from the next year it will be 5. But what we were asking for the 10-year warranty, we were asking to sign the contract with the patient that he will be coming to your clinics each year for the hygiene. Now we will take this obligation out. We will say that it's your choice. I'm definitely recommend you to do that, but we will not check this. We only want to sign a contract with you, and that's it. And if you sign the contract, you're in. If you're using a selective, rock-solid as selective implants, we'll reimburse 800 euros if the implant fails after the restoration is done. So from our side is needed only the lot and pictures, and the benefits of us are clear. First of all, it's less complications. Secondly, you retreat the patients if they happen, these complications, from our costs, and is a clear warranty system in a clinic. So I really would like you to think once again about this, and to motivate you, I would like to present the numbers of Algirdas. Actually, it took a while for me to convince him to switch from rock-solid SLA to rock-solid selective. And it took a while for me to convince him to calculate the results, his personal results with the implants. And here are the numbers. Maybe he will show in his presentation also. But for me, that is one of the biggest inspirations actually for the next year to speak about this with you. Look, he did very wisely. He took the implants before putting a crown on top. So before restoration, before final restoration. He calculated, he has a team, they took all the patient cards and they were looking at the results. And they were comparing. Here, this column, this circle, is actually BioHorizon implants and a little bit MIS. But this is grade 5 titanium, this is cylindrical connection, and you see before putting a crown on top from almost 8,000 implants, he has lost 320. It is 4%. When he switched to Straumann first titanium, afterwards SL active, afterwards rock solid, the complication rates has dropped 4 times to 99%. And from almost 3,000 implants, he has lost only 28. It is 1%. Then he switched to rock solid SL active, and here is a surprise. Here is a very interesting number. I want to stress it. From 2,000 implants, he has lost only 5. And the success rate become 99.75%. In Algirdas' hands, one of the best surgeons in the world, in my understanding, in his hands, this product works 4 times better. So I think in all other hands, definitely the results will be the same. And the price issue, I think, totally not exist, because those clinics who started to offer this, plus adding the warranty, there is no doubt for patients to pay 100 euros more. And the price difference here is not 100 euros, it is 50 euros if you purchase it from the distributor. So even the clinic is earning more money, giving the better product, 4 times better product, and has a warranty. So I really call to think about this. And my recommendation for this year. In the beginning of this year, I read a very inspiring article for me, and I want to share it with you. Dave Brailsford became a director of British cycling team. The cycling team never won Tour de France. They were very high, but never on the first place. And he understood that the team is really good, is really strong, and he will not be able to make some kind of revolutions. And he on purpose, he said, I will try to look all the processes that are going on in the cycling team, and I will try to look to 1% improvement, only 1%. And he believed that if he will improve in various processes 1%, at the end they will win. This end, he believed that it will be in 5 years. Actually, they won Tour de France in 3 years. And afterwards, in 5 years ahead, it's only 1 Tour de France that they lost. But he looked in all the processes, looking for small improvements. They got to the situation that they were bringing their own pillows to the hotels because they slept better after the race on their own pillows. And I do believe that today, here, or over the screen who are watching us, everybody is already good enough, really good enough, and doing good things. We are not talking from bad to good, we are talking from good to great. And we are talking from good to great, it's very difficult to find some revolutionary findings. It's possible to look for these small improvements, this 1% improvements. And in a management theory, there is a term called aggregation of marginal gains, which means that if you start to improve something 1%, with time, it makes a difference. And if you stand still, or it's very often we decrease 1% if we do nothing, with time it will be a huge difference. So I really call you to think about this. For me, it's an inspiration to look all day, each morning, to wake up with the question, what can I do better? What we can do better?